Hi, this is Joshua coming back to you again, and I'm not going to go on with the part two on this manifestation of joy that the Lord allowed me to have a foretaste of, and I want to go right into video 516, and I was going to talk on this before, I just couldn't remember it, but around the time that I was still living in Vancouver, back in the middle part of the 1990s, when I got to know Michael and his wife Flossie and that, and I was going to say, I had this vision. It was just like a day vision. It wasn't like the 7 open visions that the Lord gave me in February of 1988 concerning the destruction of the West Coast. And sometimes the Lord, the Holy Spirit, can put this in you. And what I saw was I saw the time where the army of the Lord, this end time army, was gathered, and they were gathered at the base of this huge mountain. And the base of the mountain designated the time frame that this journey to the top of the mountain would begin. When it talks about Matthew 24, kingdom against kingdom, that there would be, where Daniel speaks about there's going to be a 7-year period, this 70th week of Daniel, where the army of the Lord would begin to go forth to go forth in great power and demonstration. This is what I saw. I saw this army. Everybody had brand new uniforms on, just real spick and span, but they weren't seasoned. They weren't seasoned. They're entering into the 7 last years. The Lord raised them up. They qualified to be part of this army. And not all those who call themselves believers will be part of this army, because it's only for the paid out. Those are absolutely sold out for the Lord. But not everybody who starts out is going to finish. And I knew that the climb up the mountain was the journey home. And at the time, I didn't know what was on top of the mountain. That wasn't revealed. But at the time, I knew that it's like I see myself, right in the front of this vast army. And I was holding up this banner, and this banner represented the love of God. And everybody was lined up in 2, side by side, going forth. And we started off on a pathway that was fairly wide. The going was fairly easy, and the fighting, the warfare was here and there, but it wasn't. It wasn't overwhelming, but you had to pay attention. And the further that we went along, the higher that we climbed, the more into this 7-year battle that took place. And the higher that we went, the more intense the warfare became, and the darker that the world became as a whole and spiritually. And as we started out, that you had to be on your toes, because if you weren't on your toes, if you weren't paying attention, it's like an arm would come out and snatch you out of take you off the path. If you didn't have your eyes focused on the Lord, that cost you something. You're taken out as far as you made it, as far as you would progress. spiritually. And the more that we climbed up, the more that the more intense the fighting became, and the more narrower the path became. You know, the fighting became so intense that if you were looking ahead, and even if you turned your eyes to the right or to the left, that was enough to get you taken off the path. That's how incredibly focused that this army had to be. The greatest spiritual fighting force in all of history and all of time. And that's what's coming. So God's not going to put this little wimpy little army together. This army that's going to put together is going to be the best of his best. It's going to be his the best of his shock troops. And as we began to climb, our uniforms began to become ripped and worn, and our numbers became less and less. But as we neared the top, we could see this square building. There's a white building on top, and we had no strength. We got within maybe a stone's throw of our destination. We had no strength, and all of a sudden the door opened up from the inside out. It was right on the corner, and out stepped the Messiah, outstepped Yeshua. Jesus Christ opened the door, and he remained on the outside and he kept the door open, and all these angels came out. All these angels came out, and they helped us to get in the rest of the way. And when we went inside, the Lord stepped back through the door, and as he did, he closed that door. And you could hear this ring. There was such a silence. It went through eternity. It went around the world. And all of a sudden you heard, bang, 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 let us in. These were the foolish virgins who did not listen. And they were locked out in utter darkness. And this is so real. And I know it's coming. But those who kept their eyes on the Lord made it to the wedding feast of the Lamb. They entered into the rest of the Lord. So that's what the wedding feast of the Lamb is all about. You may not believe it, but I tell you, I was there and experienced it. And we're about to enter into this 7-year climb. We're about to go back home for those of you who have years to year. And it's time to gather. It's time to gather together in these little collective communities so that we can encourage one another, so that we can experience the love of God amongst each other, and to where all the needs are going to be met. There won't be no lack. And for this is the Lord hasn't meant for us to live apart. He's meant for his people to come together in community, and especially in these times, that we need to come together into these little camps to make preparation for the bigger picture, for when the time comes where we have to leave the West Coast. Well, we're entering into the 7 last years, and you need to heed, because it's the love of God that's going to keep us on the path and keep our eyes focused on the Lord. And if our eyes are fixed on the Lord and we don't waver, we're going to see the end of this journey. With everybody who's been in this journey, they're all going to receive a reward, but not everyone's going to finish. And those that have finished, you know who they are? They're the ones that endure to the end. They're the ones that endure until the Lord comes in glory. I'd just like to leave you, to share this with you, because it's a true story. And I'd like to hear your stories.